After the hero, Sung Jinwoo, saved the world by single-handedly taking down the monarchs of darkness, the world remained in peace for many years. However, after discovering the death of their fellow brethren, absolute beings from outer worlds came to Earth to claim their brothers' remains. With the world's peace at risk again, Jinwoo set out into outer space to prevent the world's end. That was years ago, and now Jinwoo's son Sung Suho has grown up. After risking his life to save innocence, Suho broke the seal on his dormant powers and learned the truth about the war taking place. Now, with the help of Beeru, one of his father's most trusted soldiers, Suho sets out to reclaim his prior strength, take down the followers of Itarim on Earth, and eventually join his father in the war against the outer gods.
Previously on Solo Leveling Ragnarok, Yuri Orlov put his master plan, Unwhittering Spring, into motion. Aware of the turmoil that the mad Russian would bring, the American Hunters Association director, United States President, and Norma Selner all rushed to tell Sung Suho. While Thomas Andre dealt with Yuri, Suho went to the North Pole to cut off the source of his powers. However, they were greeted by an even greater threat, something more divine and ancient. Itarim. Using Yuri as a sacrifice, Itarim opened a portal directly to Earth and began its invasion. With this world's strongest force, the Shadow Monarch, Sung Jinwoo, many eons and dimensions away, Itarim concluded that the absolute being's remaining power was his for the taking. But he mustn't overlook the son of the Shadow Monarch, an individual who's just as capable of stopping the invasion. As the new guardian of the World Tree, and with the powers of the new Monarchs, Suho unleashes his ultimate weapon against the god.
As the white domain envelops the battlefield, Suho raises his hand.
All of you, arise!
Each monarch, once believed to be beyond shadow, now bends to Suho's command. Through his mastery of transcendence, through the will of the World Tree, he does the impossible.
Arise, Shadow Nidhog!
And with that single command, the earth shudders, the white abyss howls, and the god begins to tremble. The chapter opens not with action, but with reflection. Suho sits down to hear an old story from none other than Antares, the once feared monarch of destruction. Though reborn in the cute and chubby body of Ragnar, Antares' personality remains imposing, like a war-hardened grandfather relaying wisdom earned through centuries of battle. This isn't just nostalgic rambling. Antares has come to respect Suho, not just as a vessel for the primordial darkness, but as a potential savior of the universe. So he shares something sacred, the origin of the World Tree. In ancient times, when the universe was still young and raw, all souls upon death drifted toward a singular beacon, the World Tree. This tree was no mere object. It was divine technology, created by the mysterious Itarim gods to govern the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. At a surface level, its purpose seemed clear: purify dead souls, allow reincarnation, and maintain cosmic balance. But Antares reveals a deeper truth.
The World Tree was both cradle and tomb for both forces.
From the branches of the World Tree came the ruler's soldiers, beings of holy light, the so-called angels, birthed from radiant fruit. From the roots, however, were born their dark counterparts, demons, monsters, dragons, everything the monarchs would eventually command. This wasn't corruption, it was design. The World Tree was never meant to serve just light. It was crafted to maintain perfect equilibrium, heaven and earth, angels and demons, rulers and monarchs. Both are products of the same tree, split between sky and soil. The true disaster struck not in battle, but in betrayal. The angels, the ruler's soldiers, killed the god that created them. In that moment, the god who had authored the balance was gone. The world tree died with him. Souls continued drifting toward the world tree, but without purification or rebirth, they simply accumulated, like water in a broken dam. The universe stopped progressing. No new angels, no new monarchs, no reincarnation. The result?
This might be the last universe, the last cycle, the final generation.
Antares, reborn through Jinwoo's plan, recognized this. So did Suho. Without restoring the world tree, everything dies. Antares shifts the focus to the most dangerous element of all, Nidhog. Born of all primordial darknesses, Nidhog was naturally drawn to the world tree, not out of hatred, but instinct. Its role was to devour the roots, to fulfill the monarch's purpose of destruction.
It cannot be blamed. That is what it was made to do.
But if left unchecked, Nidhogg would eventually eat all remnants of the world tree, erasing even the faint hope of cosmic revival. Suho, of course, had already done the impossible, breaking Nidhogg back down into its 7 primordial darknesses and sealing them within the bodies of monarchs like Thomas Andre, Gray, Essel, and the rest.
Well done!
Antares finally praises, but then he warns.
You've only delayed the end. To truly save the universe, you must revive the world tree.
Antares can destroy, but he cannot create. However, Suho is different. After merging with the shadow of the world tree, he has become something new, something that even the Dragon King recognizes.
You are now the guardian of the world tree.
It's a role akin to what Jinwoo once achieved as the true Shadow Monarch. Suho doesn't fully understand it yet, but he can feel it. He is no longer just Jinwoo's son or a vessel for darkness. He is a seed of rebirth. And Antares, Suho's former enemy, offers a pact.
When you see Jinwoo again, tell him this is only temporary.
Suho laughs, not just at the irony, but because Antares speaks so seriously, while living inside the chubby, adorable body of a baby dragon. The time has come. With all the ingredients gathered and the plan solidified in Suho's mind, he issues a single, epic command.
Arise, Shadow Nidhog.
Instantly, the 6 monarchs, Thomas Andre, Gray, Circa, Amut, Arsha, and Essel, release the primordial darknesses they've been suppressing. From each of them, a head of Nidhogg erupts, monstrous, ancient, terrifying. Thomas's head burns with brute conquest. Gray's head growls with primal rage. Circa's glows with icy vengeance. Arsha's is a chittering black void. Essel's seethes with gluttonous hunger. Amut's bears the weight of trials and death. And finally, Suho himself draws forth the 7th head, the one from Antares. All 7 heads lunge at him. This isn't a rebirth, it's a test. The primordial darknesses still seek domination. They want to devour him. Suho doesn't flinch. He opens his arms and embraces them.
Come.
At the apex of this clash, Suho activates a skill inherited from Antares himself. Skill activated, Dragon Fear. Krah. The battlefield trembles as the true roar of a dragon monarch echoes across dimensions. Even Nidhogg, born to devour gods, shudders. Effect: Fear activated. Nidhogg fears you. This is no ordinary intimidation. This is a dominance effect, honed by Suho's personal growth and Antares' legacy. It declares, beyond doubt,
I'm the boss, you bastards!
And so, rather than being consumed, Suho consumes them. The seven heads merge into him, and the beast that once coiled around the world tree now coils around Suho, blazing in pure white shadow. A reborn god-eater, now under Suho's command. Grow. As the dust settles, Beeru, now reduced back to a tiny, comical figure, climbs onto Suho's shoulder and roars with pride. The true weapon against the outer gods has been reborn, not in defiance of destruction, but in the name of balance, creation, and survival. The chapter begins with an overwhelming clash between the forces of light and shadow, of cosmic invaders and defiant defenders. Nidhogg, the newly resurrected seven-headed primordial beast, barrels through space, charging directly at the colossal outer god Itarim, a deity so vast it manifests as a universe-sized eye in the heavens. Yet, the outer god remains calm. To Itarim, these monarchs, no matter how powerful, are still creatures, entertaining perhaps, but ultimately insignificant.
Now, disappear.
In an instant, blades of divine gaze rain down from the sky, cutting space itself. Reality is torn apart like a fabric shredded by the glance of a god. But Nidhogg doesn't falter. Instead, it roars back. Each of the seven monarchs inside Nidhogg takes a turn revealing their specialized authority, shielding the beast and counterattacking in a dazzling display of elemental power and mythical force. Ammit, Monarch of Trials, activates Iron Body, reinforcing Nidhogg's scales to withstand the dimensional gaze blades. With unmatched physical durability, Nidhogg charges through the cosmic storm. Circa, Monarch of Nightmares, unleashes Blizzard of Disaster, a breath of absolute zero that clashes with Itarim's fiery wrath. The flames and frost collide in a cataclysmic explosion. Yet Nidhogg keeps advancing. Arsha, Monarch of the Void, summons a plague of void insects from her head. These insects devour dimensional barriers and divine shields, opening a path through the outer god's final defense. Grey, Monarch of the Hunt, uses battle roar and contempt for the weak. His howl paralyzes the countless apostles sent by the outer god, exposing their inferiority. The difference in hierarchy is clear. Grey's aura alone reduces the enemy to prey. As these heads combine forces, they bite, crush, and devour the apostles. Hundreds of divine beings swallowed midair by the writhing serpent body of Nidhogg. Humanity watches from Earth with awe and disbelief. The gods they feared are being eaten alive. For the first time, they dare to hope. Just as Nidhogg approaches the eye of Itarim, an unexpected force halts its momentum. Yuri Orlov, the traitor to Earth. His appearance is horrifying. A walking corpse, reinforced by magic and wrapped in a net of divine barriers. But this is no longer the man who once sealed dimensional rifts. It is now a puppet, controlled by something far older and far more dangerous. Orlov mocks the world.
Creatures who dare stand before a god, try breaking through my infinite barrier first.
Thousands of interwoven shields materialize, slowing Nidhogg's advance. Humanity watches, terrified. Has hope been extinguished again? From within Yuri's body, a different voice emerges. Dual-toned, both male and female. Cold and mechanical. Kandiaru, the architect, the genius who once designed the system for Sung Jinwoo, the mastermind behind the leveling mechanic, the one who died during the war, now resurrected. But how? The cup of reincarnation reset time, bringing even dead monarchs back. Kandiaru used that moment to flee. He didn't rejoin the monarchs. Instead, he ran, out of Jinwoo's universe, into one ruled by outer gods.
To avoid being caught by the Shadow Monarch, I fled to another universe.
There, he sold out his world. Kandiaru informed the Outer Gods that Jinwu's universe was godless, a perfect target. This betrayal ignited the Outer God War. He didn't come back to help. He came back to invade, serving Itarim as both an apostle and a monarch. Even more disturbing, Kandiaru had been preparing to inherit one of the primordial darknesses, to become the 8th head of Nidhog. While Suho and the Monarchs believed there were only 7 heads, the 8th was hidden, claimed by Kandiaru, who quietly fused himself with Orloff and infiltrated the Earth. His goal? To steal Suho's body.
What do you think, Dragon King? If I enter his son's soul, will Jinwu be able to kill me?
It's a devastatingly clever plan. Jinwu's greatest strength, his love, is also his greatest weakness. If Kandiaru fuses with Suho, Jinwu may hesitate. He might not be able to destroy his own son, even if corrupted, and thus, Kandiaru would become immortal. Just as Kandiaru prepares to invade Suho's soul, a voice echoes from within Nidhogg.
Digestion complete.
It's Esilradiru, the monarch of gluttony. She reveals that she has absorbed all the power of the apostles devoured during the battle, turning their essence into pure experience points. Suddenly, the system activates. Ting. Level up. Level up. Blessing of gluttony active. Suho's strength soars. And then, standing atop the head of Nidhogg, wielding 2 black daggers, Kamish's wrath, Suho appears.
I am my father's son, Sung Suho!
The moment hangs heavy. His figure, his aura, his stance, all evoke the memory of Sung Jinwu, but now forged with his own strength. He activates Breath of Destruction. Black flames roar from Nidhogg's mouth. His daggers move with surgical precision, tearing Kandiaru's barriers apart, channeling destruction into every movement.
This is the system you created, Kandiaru. But I'm the one rewriting it now.
As Suho's daggers shred the final layers of Kandiaru's barriers, the former architect of the system, now the self-proclaimed monarch of transfiguration, realizes something horrifying. He didn't control the system anymore. Suho did. The chapter opens mid-battle with an explosive continuation of Sung Suho's clash against Kandiaru, the former architect of the system turned monarch of transfiguration. Kandiaru had once created the system that empowered Sung Jinwu. Now, his own creation, perfected in Jinwu's son, is tearing through his defenses. The True Slaughter skill allows Suho's daggers, burning with the Dragon King's black flames, to slice through even the most intricate and layered magical barriers like butter. Ting, skill, True Slaughter destroys all barriers. Kandiaru, overwhelmed, begins to panic.
This cannot be!
But Suho is relentless. His strikes are precise. His power is his father's legacy, refined by his own trials. He is no longer just Jinwu's son. He is the embodiment of a new order. Pushed to the brink, Kandiaru unleashes his most devastating authority. Monarch of Transfiguration uses authority, Echo of Despair. A jet-black wave of cursed energy erupts from him, spreading across the entire Earth. This is not just an attack. It is a soul-deep plague. People across the globe begin to scream in terror. They collapse, vomit, moan in fear. Some lose consciousness. Others are paralyzed. The world's hope turns to horror. The curse plants auditory hallucinations of their loved ones dying. It feeds on dread, corroding the will to live. Kandiaru's voice echoes like a demon.
This is what your father tried to protect. They'll all die now! Because of you!
It is a calculated psychological attack. one meant to force Suho into despair, to question the meaning of his father's sacrifice. But Suho doesn't falter.
You're underestimating humans.
With calm, piercing eyes, Suho faces the enemy. And then, the miracle happens. Suddenly, across the globe, people begin to move. Not away from death, but towards salvation. Instead of collapsing, they rise. Their destination? Game capsules. At that moment, every phone on Earth buzzes with an emergency notification. Not from the government, but from Ajin Soft, the global VR game giant. The CEO, Yu Jinho. The message is urgent. Emergency patch notice. Please evacuate to the Tower of Trials via nearest capsule. This isn't a drill. It's part of a plan long in motion, Suho's plan. In the 20-plus years since Kandiaru's disappearance, VR capsules had become as ubiquitous as smartphones. Homes, offices, streets, everyone had access to them. Even amidst the soul-crippling curse, people crawl into their capsules. And then, Ting, connecting to solo leveling, Ragnarok. Ting, entering tutorial, Tower of Trials. Their souls are extracted. Instantly, billions are uploaded into avatars stored within the Tower of Trials, the black pyramids that have stood silently for years in every major city. This is the moment of revelation. Inside Nidhog, Amit, the monarch of trials, confirms. Suho smiles coldly.
Thanks to the system you created, now all of us can fight you.
Kandiaru is horrified. Why? Because the Tower of Trials was his own invention. Originally created to forge vessels for the Shadow Monarch, it has now been repurposed against him. The lab he once used to experiment on humans is now a sanctuary, a battlefield. Amut, once a test subject, has seized authority over the tower, transformed it into a mechanism for mass ascension. The tower's function isn't just to evacuate souls. It grants all who enter a vessel derived from the Apostle of Conquest's cells, combat capabilities. The name Sung Jinwoo. Suho didn't just prepare to fight the gods himself. He made sure all of humanity would fight them too. From every Tower of Trials, pillars of light shoot into the sky, converging towards Suho. Kandiaru watches in disbelief as billions of souls, empowered, named Sung Jinwoo, trained and trial-hardened, flow into Nidhogg. A cosmic army, one mind, one purpose. Kandiaru shrieks.
What have you done?
With steely eyes, Suho meets Kandiaru's gaze.
All humans grow. No matter how weak at first, they can become endlessly stronger through trials. And the strongest of them all is my dad. That's why we won't be the ones to hold him back.
Then, Nidhogg, now infused with humanity's collective strength, pierces through Kandiaru's body and beyond. Its momentum tears through Itarim's giant cosmic eye, a direct hit on the outer god. The eye shatters. Space-time twists. A dimension ruptures. Suho, riding Nidhogg, breaks through the wall between Earth and the outer god's home dimension. They've entered enemy territory, but the triumph is brief. A deep rumble shakes the alien sky. Clouds twist violently. Thunder and lightning crash with godlike fury. The wounded outer god, now missing an eye, awakens in full wrath. Its scream shakes the heavens. The real war has begun. Before the battle escalates, Suho turns toward Kandiaru's broken body, ruler's authority. He pulls the corpse to him and activates Shadow of the World Tree. Then, Suho rips out the primordial darkness within Kandiaru, one of the final keys to godlike power. He throws the essence to Beeru, who, though shrunk from exhaustion, devours it instantly. Skill, predation. Marshal Beeru absorbs the Apostle of the Infinite's ability. Unwhittering Spring. This skill had once allowed Kandiaru and Yuri Orlov to channel infinite divine energy from Itarim. Now, Beeru has inherited that connection. And through that divine tether, something more happens. Beeru connects with Shadow Monarch Sung Jinwoo. Beeru uses skill Unwhittering Spring. Beeru recovers all mana. Across dimensions, from the far end of the universe, Jinwoo's power flows back into the war. The chapter opens with Beeru's primal scream, shaking the very foundations of the godly dimension. But this isn't just a war cry. It's a declaration of loyalty, vengeance, and ecstasy. The moment he reconnected with his master, Sung Jinwoo through the Unwhittering Spring, Beeru was reborn in full glory. He soars into the sky, black mana erupting like a volcano from his form. And behind him, the colossal shadow of Jinwoo looms faintly like a death god observing from another plane. Suho, watching his uncle in arms return to power, can only smile. The wounded outer god Itarim, infuriated by its damaged eye and Beeru's defiance, unleashes the pure will of a god. That wrath takes form. Blood and divine hatred coalesce into monstrous beings. Apostles of annihilation. These grotesque abominations, birthed from divine malice, swarm like a tsunami toward Beeru. Each one a manifestation of destruction, they scream with rage and hunger. But Beeru doesn't retreat. He rejoices. Because here, in this enemy stronghold, he can finally unleash everything without fear of damaging fragile Earth. With infinite mana flowing from Jinwoo across dimensions, Beeru becomes the embodiment of shadow warfare. He launches himself into the Legion, a black meteor slicing through divine flesh. His claws, shaped from pure death mana, rip, tear, and explode anything in their path. He dances amidst chaos, his killing instincts unleashed, his mind consumed with ecstasy.
I shall have thy head, false god!
Itarim, enraged that its apostles are being shredded like paper, intervenes directly. The sky, a veined, bruised membrane, splits open. From it pours a divine cascade, the light of godly annihilation. This is no simple energy. It's a force that distorts the very laws of the universe, capable of erasing reality itself. Beeru? He laughs.
I am filled with gratitude, master. I shall run even more rampant.
Beeru surges upward to meet the god's beam. The collision cracks the dimension. Time and space screech. Rivers reverse. Ground liquefies. The air becomes molten thunder. At the same time, Beeru unfurls one more skill. Barrier, an ability he once devoured from Yuri Orlov. A massive dome forms, shielding Suho and the rest of humanity from the divine wrath raining from the skies. Suho watches calmly, admiring the strength of his loyal shadow warrior. But he doesn't waste time. He recalls how this entire moment was predicted by Madame Selner's prophecy, and how Orlov's data, the World Hunter Association's findings, and the Arctic invasion all led to this singular plan, bringing humanity into the heart of the enemy. The Eye of Itarim, the Dimensional Tunnel, Orlov's stolen god tech, the Tower of Trials, all of it, a chessboard Suho assembled over years. And now, humanity stands on Itarim's doorstep, ready for war. As Suho and humanity take in their surroundings, the horror hits them. This is no simple otherworldly battlefield. This is a dimension of pure madness. The ground pulses with black-purple filth. It feels alive. Trees resemble twisted flesh, branches ending in gaping maws. Every blade of grass is a blade. Tentacles writhe from the earth. The sky is veined flesh, crying blood from Itarim's ruptured eye. This land isn't just hostile, it's predatory. And the creatures? crawling nightmares made of tangled limbs, slime-covered giants with bone shells, predators that feast on each other even while charging toward humanity. A flood of monstrous eyes turn toward Earth's newest invaders. Fear paralyzes the players. These aren't game monsters. This is not the Tower of Trials. This is real. Until a voice echoes out, deep and proud.
Is it my time to step up?
Thomas Andre, the monarch of conquest, steps forward and activates authority, giant transformation. His body explodes in size, muscle, and power. He becomes a colossus, a giant of hundreds of meters tall. With a single footstep, he annihilates swathes of monsters into black goo. The monarch of conquest declares a war of conquest. The war has truly begun. Just then. Ting. A new server has opened. Outer Universe Dimension 1. EXP gain plus 200%. A system announcement sent from Earth by Yu Jinho blinks before every player. The fear? It vanishes. What was terror becomes fuel. These aren't civilians anymore. These are seasoned players of solo leveling, Ragnarok, veterans of death and rebirth. The name Sung Jinwoo flashes on every HUD as the world explodes into action. Wah! And then, another monarch steps forward.
All listen. I am Asil Radiru, eldest daughter of the Radiru family, kings of demons and monarch of gluttony.
Authority, Hell's Army. Dozens of magic circles ignite above her, bending dimensional coordinates. Demonic portals burst open, revealing the massive black fleet, Alfheim. Rows of demons, armed and roaring, arrive from every realm to answer their king's call. The demons have arrived in the outer god's domain. The humans have arrived. The monarchs are at full power. And now, Suho raises his head. His power swells, his voice is calm.
Arise.
The chapter opens with Sung Suho, standing like a god among men as a jet-black sea of shadows spills from beneath his feet. But this is no ordinary shadow. It's vast, bottomless, alive. From within the abyss rise thousands upon thousands of shadow soldiers, their forms twisted and sharpened by battle. They scream into the void, roaring defiance into the very heart of Itarim's alien realm. And at the center of this grand army, Suho himself, gripping dual daggers, utters a single word.
Let's go.
With that command, the war truly begins. First to surge into action is Almut, the monarch of trials and king of monstrous humanoids. With a mad echoing laugh, he charges the enemy like an unstoppable force of nature. Each step of Amut's iron body triggers massive shockwaves. The ground shatters under his fists. Chain explosions ripple with every movement. His aura alone causes enemies to spontaneously rupture.
Excellent. Truly excellent.
No longer bound by Earth's restrictions, Amut embraces this hellish realm as his personal playground of destruction. The battlefield is his trial ground, and he is the trial incarnate. On the opposite flank, Thomas Andre, now transformed into a mountain-sized colossus, gleefully smashes through the enemy hordes like a siege engine brought to life. He activates Skill, Collapse. Effect, pulverize all terrain and life within radius. His fists cause valleys to split open. The ground caves in. A gravitational black hole pulls enemies in, only to be crushed again by a second
Collapse!
boom, quang. Andre's laughter booms across the battlefield, a deep and wild echo of battle joy. Not to be outdone, the Queen of the Elves, Circa, launches her own authority, Nightmare Tree, plus Blizzard of Disaster. She conjures massive, leafless ice trees that grow instantly where her spears land. From these trees, a freezing storm emerges. Ice spreads like a plague. Monsters are slowed, frozen, and cornered. Her ability isn't flashy, but devastatingly tactical, locking enemies in place and allowing others to finish them. At the same time, Gray, the king of beasts, tears through the battlefield like a lupine typhoon. Authority, contempt for the weak. With a mighty howl, he sends out a battlefield-wide debuff, weakening every low-tier enemy, the perfect setup for the humans to begin their own offensive. And now, the players enter the chaos. Veteran users from the Tower of Trials, elite guilds, and even casual gamers who trained under the New Earth system surge forward with a unified roar. But war is not a simple MMORPG. Many players become overwhelmed in the chaos. That's when Suho calls,
Arsha!
The Monarch of the Void, Arsha, dispatches her insect army, each transforming into a tiny, cheerful Arsha clone fairy. These aren't just cute mascots. They become battlefield tutors whispering in players' ears.
Watch out! Dodge left and counter, now! That enemy is too high level. Pull back and farm elsewhere. Don't group up here. You'll get AoE'd.
And when a player faces fatal danger, Void Wall activated. A dimensional barrier saves them from instant death. Soon, the battlefield transforms. Players organize into zones by level. Formations improve. Tactical strategies unfold in real time. In essence, Arsha has gamified war. This isn't just battle, it's a giant co-op raid, and every player is learning on the fly. While the monarchs and humans fight, Suho's gaze is fixated elsewhere, not on the enemy, but on their corpses. Shadow extraction possible. Contaminated mana, extraction impossible. For those eligible, Suho stretches out a hand.
Arise.
The battlefield shakes. Enemies rise as new shadow soldiers. Black mist pouring from their forms. Players are stunned. Momentum swells. But for enemies with tainted mana, those who can't be turned into shadows, Suho has another strategy. Authority. Fruit of the world tree. Purification. Compression. Crystallization. Extraction. Runestone acquired. Hardened scales. Runestone acquired. Keen senses. Each unusable corpse is converted into valuable runestones, loot items that grant skills. Suho doesn't keep them. He gives them to Arsha, who distributes them among players.
Pick the right person and reward them.
And Arsha delivers like a cheerful loot goblin.
You did great. Want to pick a skill? Choose one of these 3 upgrades. Bonus combo unlocked.
Players are now evolving rapidly, becoming faster, stronger, more specialized. With monarchs like Amit, Thomas, Circa, and Gray pushing the front lines. With players learning and growing mid-battle. With shadows rising from the dead. And with Suho acting as both commander and architect of the battlefield. The invasion of Itarim's realm becomes something more than a clash of worlds. It becomes a symphony of war, and it is Earth's forces, surprisingly, who lead the rhythm. The chapter begins at the highest point imaginable, within the cosmic mind of Itarim, the outer god. A being ancient beyond measure, the architect of the laws of reality, a creator of life, time, and meaning itself. For eons, Itarim existed in monotonous omnipotence, seeing everything before it unfolded. Nothing surprised him, nothing moved him, until now. Hovering in the sky, witnessing the escalating chaos below, Itarim realizes something strange. The bloody tears streaming from its divine eye have twisted into a smile. Emotion, for the first time in millennia, begins to crack the sterile shell of its mind. A ripple in its eternal boredom. Beeru is the source. The narration shifts to Beeru, who is now more than just a shadow ant. He has become a one-man apocalypse. ripping through the apostles of annihilation, creatures crafted specifically to kill him. He devours them with ferocity and madness. His wings are torn. His body is crushed. His limbs are ripped apart, but he does not die. Instead, Beeru evolves through predation, gaining the powers of each apostle he devours. Ignore defense, lethal venom immunity, and many more. Every wound births black steam. Every death becomes a feast. He becomes stronger with every injury. His scream echoes.
Eek! Not enough! Come at me more!
His very existence is now a contradiction to divine order. And that is precisely why Itarim is fascinated. The god does not feel anger anymore. It feels pleasure. Itarim, the unfeeling god, is beginning to feel alive again. Feeling emotion for the first time, Itarim changes. The apostles of annihilation, once forged for pure efficiency, are now transformed into grotesque works of horror, created not just to kill, but to torture, to prolong, to dramatize. Itarim becomes not just a god, but an artist of suffering. His madness seeps into his creations. They twist, they mutate, they become terrible. And then, at the crescendo of this twisted opera, a new actor enters.
Beeru, I've come to support you!
Sung Suho, the Shadow Monarch's son, soars through the air, his presence immediately shifting the tides. His forces rally. The sky fills with shadow ships piloted by Isil. The winged shadow soldiers and floating armada recreate the terrifying beauty of the original Shadow Legion. Itarim, awestruck, watches this mirror of past power and utters in wonder.
Oh.
Suho's army pierces the heavens. Beeru's roar becomes triumphant. And then, across the darkness, Itarim senses Sung Jinwoo. The Shadow Monarch, hidden in the background, reveals his will through Beeru. The moment Itarim feels the gaze of Sung Jinwoo, the god's amusement boils into ecstasy. For the first time, Itarim considers the impossible. The concept doesn't exist for a god. Yet facing Jinwoo and Suho together, Itarim begins to imagine it. It becomes enthralled by the idea of dying at the hands of its creation. So it decides to embrace destruction and create a final masterpiece. Itarim reaches across space, rips an asteroid from a distant nebula, and hurls it at Beeru, Suho, the entire battlefield. Boom! The asteroid strikes like a second moon. Planets collide, worlds collapse. Beeru throws himself in front of Suho to shield him. Shadow soldiers pile atop them, forming a wall of defense. And amidst the screaming destruction, Itarim laughs. Only one being truly grasps the deeper horror, Antares, the former monarch of destruction. Watching from afar, he understands that Itarim is not simply annihilating the world. He's preparing a rebirth. A god doesn't just destroy. He creates from destruction. And that is what Itarim is doing now. Using his entire dimension as fuel, he activates God's tool, stage of the lonely god. This is Itarim's divine stage, where death becomes creation and creation becomes insanity. As the asteroid explodes and light swallows the battlefield, Suho awakens, at home, with his parents. Eating breakfast, he stares in horror. His mother, gentle as ever, offers him soup. His father, Sung Jinwoo, reads the news.
Did you doze off during breakfast again, Suho?
Dad! What? Mom?
Go wash your face. You only have afternoon classes today.
Reality presses down on him. He's a normal 20-year-old art student, a freshman, no war, no shadows, no monarchs. A hallucination, a trap.